Hey everyone, it's Stuart. Welcome back. Hope you're doing great wherever you are in the world. Today is another viewer suggestion. Sent me an email about situation, has lived in multiple countries and was talking through what it was like to live in those countries. So I wanted to get some information so that might make future videos from, or just as we're considering what we do in retirement, maybe adding some things to the list, some points to ponder, if you will. But I wanted to get this from you, and I made this video, and the title is a certain thing, is that we, and it doesn't mean I'm American, so I'm not saying just Americans. Often we like to, the phrase is keeping up with the Joneses, what's the flashiest new place to travel to? Where's the new place to retire? When you see international living, travel, leisure, my social media feed is mostly travel places. We're always thinking of places that we can go travel to. It's always here, the top 10 lists for this month or this year on where to move to or where to retire to. And what I want to get from you, and I want to ask you, and I hope that we can talk through this and you can leave some good comments below, is maybe not about going or thinking about where everyone's going to in the next trendy spot to, let's say, over tourism or overpopulate and make the immigration ridiculous. That's Portugal, side note. It's more of where do you belong, and asking yourself and your spouse, partner, significant other, your family, where's the best place for you? Not considering, the people, the culture, the whatever. It's what works best for what your situation is, not what, I've mentioned about best places to go or what I think culture is and what people are. What works for you? And I'm coming at this because the gentleman that responded is that just lost his spouse in one of the trips, so he's by himself. He's in his 80s. And he said, it gets lonely sometimes because, and I'm going to go into these reasons. And I want to get your perspective. If you are doing it by yourself or you're living you're as a couple and you're used to being around family, there's certain things I think that this might resonate with you. I'm going to throw a curveball at you. Many people, when they retire, they don't retire abroad. They retire in your home country, and then you move to the new country. Part of losing your work identity. I've been in and out of work, and for last few years, based upon living overseas, coming back, it's been interesting to say the least, and frustrating. But losing your work identity. Work to me was very much my identity. I think I was known more for who I worked for better or for worse, or what I did there, than really for who I was outside of work. Not right or wrong. It's just I think that's a fair assessment of how people view and judge me is based upon that. Wish it was different, but I think I put a lot of time and effort. Work was everything. Unfortunately, I put everything on the back burner for a long time. Thankfully, getting married and settling down changed that, which was fantastic. But I think retiring, you're trying to get out of that. You've been working for 40 years or more, and now you're doing something different. Trying to think about what that looks like is very different, from going to work every day, 5 days a week, 6 days a week, to not. That can be a big change because there can be a sense of loneliness, like you're losing a group of friends or colleagues that you no longer are going to probably be around that often, especially if you move to a new country. The next one is community building. I made a video about this, and the lady that moved to Portugal, she wanted to be in the community, so she got involved in her church. And so people took that as you need to be religious and whatnot, which didn't mean that at all. But finding an organization that you could get involved in, and it might help you integrate. Because if you have a sense of loneliness because you feel like you're not able to integrate, maybe being a part of that particular group or something that's important to you will give you some value, some satisfaction, and build some bridges. Probably need to learn some language, I'm guessing, if you move to a country that has a different language than yours. I can just speak from her case that she really felt like she was able to get into the country in a way that many others weren't able to, because she focused on a particular part of her community that she wanted to deep dive into, and it worked out. Other people have tried and it, crashed and burned, didn't work out. But a sense of community, trying to, again, build bridges in a foreign country, I think it's worth it, especially if you are by yourself or if you are widowed, because, again, you have that sense of belonging maybe. Maybe not. But what's your take? If you're in that position, what are your thoughts on that? The next one, I made several videos about this, and you can find them on YouTube, is, moving away from family and the distance from family. And there are some people that are, can't wait to move and get away. And I equate that to, depending on if you have kids or not, or grandkids. Okay, kids are out of the house, so all right, what are we going to do with this? Now we have a spare bedroom. Are we going to redecorate or do something different? I think that's that's something that can happen in life, where often you are the child and then you move away. You're moving away for work or for school or family, and you leave the elderly family behind, your parents and grandparents, aunts and uncles. But this is a little different. This is, you are in the senior part of your life and you're leaving the youngins or the others behind, and you are taking the step and leap abroad. And I think that sometimes people, it's easy to get home depending on where your home is and get back and see them. I think there are some people that are content and okay with the distance of family. I can speak from our case and from most other people that I'm in communication with that live abroad, is that every once in a while there's a meltdown moment, or there's I'll say a milestone that, God, we probably should have made the road trip or the flight or something to get back for that particular event. And I think missing family is something that we didn't spend as much time focusing on before we moved. And I think we should have just started talking through, okay, we're not going to see them. It's going to be a video call. It's going to be a WhatsApp message. It's going to be something not personal. And, to some degree being okay with that, because nobody I know has the ability to just fly around the world whenever and go see whoever, whenever. But that distance from family can get you. If you are not close to your family, or there's just been some distance over time, I think that's easier to be able to, because then you don't have some of those emotional ties tugging at you. But it is something I think people should really give consideration to, because it may hit you. Often it may hit you in times where you just don't expect it. It's not the holidays. It's not someone's birthday or anniversary. It's just some odd time that you reminisce about something, and then you get sad about it. And then lastly is a little bit of that community building, but truly integration versus being in an expat bubble or an immigrant bubble. I do know people that tried to learn languages and couldn't get past the exterior, they thought that was what was going to hold them back from getting into a culture. Saw them learn the language, and it didn't work at all. Saw some other people that just didn't learn much at all, but somehow their personality and whatnot, they were able to kind of superficially mix and mingle. And then there's others that I think most of us fall in this group. You're in a bubble. You're with other people from similar countries. Either you have a similar language, and in full honesty, most everybody that we hung out with were Brits, Canadians, Americans, and a lot of, in Portugal, there's a lot of people from India and Italy. All the Italians that we knew there spoke English, and so we were fortunate there, as well as India. Many of the people that we spoke, they spoke very well. So it was, I'll say, an English-speaking immigrant bubble that we were a part of. And I think we were comfortable with that because as we were learning Portuguese and we were trying to get in with our neighbors and things like that, we had some okay conversations, but I think we felt like, or we thought that we were going to get more integrated than what we did. So that didn't meet our expectations there. So we spent more time in, I'll say, the immigrant bubble, which we tried not to get too much into. We kept that bubble at a distance as well. There was always social meetups and things to do on a daily basis, but we tried to keep our distance because we just didn't want to say, okay, well, that's our life. We're just hanging out with, people that are from the different parts of the same country we're from or other places. We did want to try to do something different. So as much as you try to integrate, I would say don't put all your eggs in that basket that it's going to happen, because it may not, even if you're doing all the right things. Some countries and some cultures are very difficult to get into, and that's also something that knowing that or learning about that ahead of time may change your perspective on where you may want to go to. If you get information that some countries are a little more open to you, that may be a place that you want to go to. But I think that there's something that sense of belonging where, the expat bubble is, we get a sense that we belong here. If you're able to integrate and that's something that you really want to do and it gives you value, awesome. I was able to get into this community and it worked out great. I think often though, even the people that we got to know really well and are still in communication with, whether it be Portugal or other countries, often I think there's like this general sense of a loneliness because their friend group does shrink from where they used to live. Family group goes to zero, so whether they're close to the family or not close to their family. And so that's where if you're single, doing it well as a solo, I think you have to have a good state of mind, a good mindset. Or if you're dating someone, or if you're married to someone, making sure that both of you are okay, on the same page when it comes to the move. And every 5 or 6 months, my wife and I would talk about you're okay, or because we both had at different times living overseas meltdowns about what are we doing, is this right for us, should we have moved someplace else, should we have not moved at all those things come up. And I think it's important that when it comes to loneliness, making sure that if you're talking to your inner voice, if you are by yourself, that inner voice is hopefully giving you good information and positive. If you're with someone, that you have a good support system in place. I think that's where I'm going with this video, is that there may be times that you are going to be lonely, and how are you going to be able to work through that when you're living abroad. All right, longer video. I hope you get some good information. Please comment if you made it this far. Let me know what you think of the video and what your thoughts are on living abroad. As always, thank you so much for watching, and enjoy your travels.